All right, we're cleaning a little bit. It's a two-bedroom apartment. We're just doing the bedrooms, and it was already vacuumed and everything when we got here, but we went ahead and went back and vacuumed some more. And you can see there's still a lot of dirt and hair and stuff that was in there. So, a second here. All right. And he's putting down, getting ready to put his pre-spray down.
What's going on now? You might as well stand over that corner.
And the carpets have some pretty good stains in them. This
They're
whole
not too dirty, but they're sold. We've seen a lot dirtier, but this is
don't forget the closet.
pretty good amount of soil. Probably Coca-Colas and grease and soda spills more than anything.
Well, this place, you know, they had a roach problem that they had. It took them 3 or 4 treatments to get rid of, so this was kept pretty nasty.
Yeah, somebody didn't live here too clean apparently, but
So that's
and you can tell by all the spilled drinks and stuff.
it's been like 2 months of roach treatments, and I found a roach when I was
Usually when you see
vacuuming.
stuff like this all over the place, it's drinks.
Yeah.
It's like beer and colas and that kind of stuff.
You know, it's funny, back in the 50s and everything like that, everybody had some roaches in their house. It's not necessarily a sign that people live bad, but if you keep your place pretty nasty, it's a guaranteed way that they'll certainly spread if you get it. It's kind of like bed bugs. There's always been bed bugs. It's just lately they get a lot of attention and people are real upset by them.
Oh, any of you
But
watching this
it's
video,
just they're normal, and most houses have bugs of some sort in
any
them.
of you watching, you got bed bugs. Everybody has bed bugs, but there's the difference in having a couple and having an infestation.
Yeah.
Bed bugs are in every house, every hotel, everywhere in America.
Well, unless you've got a brand new house and brand new mattresses and brand new furniture, you may not have them for a while, but
You'll have them, and there's a difference in having a few of them. A lot of times you have them and they don't make an infestation, but everybody's got bed bugs. That's a fact. Ask
All right.
any exterminator.
Are you going to do both rooms now, or just?
No, just one at a time. That way my spray stays wet for both rooms.
Okay. So, is the bonnet wet?
It will be in a sec. All right, we'll get the bonnet soaked up. Yeah, you want to get these bonnets nice and wet. The wetter, the better.
When you have dirty stains like this carpet has, it's a good idea to use a wet bonnet.
I hate a bad sink sprayer.
Yeah.
This is a bad sink sprayer. When you
There's some
don't,
of the
when you get off the button, it don't just shut off.
there's some of the stuff that the housekeeper got out with his vacuum, so
Yeah, we got a bunch, and so did he.
we weren't the first ones to experience how dirty the carpets.
Well, someone messaged the other day. I hope when you guys, I see you guys when you do this, you don't wear gloves. Well, we just wash our hands when we're done. It's safe.
Yeah, just don't wipe your face with your hands.
You learn what to touch and what not to touch when it comes to your body.
If you want to wear gloves, you can, but you know. Did you spray the closet?
I don't know.
I don't think you did.
Then I'll get the closet right away while the bonnet's wet. You ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can open the closet. I'll just go right into here and start. If you have the bonnet's wet, you don't really have to have spray on the carpet.
Depends on if it's dirty or not.
Well, sometimes I won't even spray a carpet. I'll just put a little water in a bucket with a little bit of soap. And,
Yeah, if there's no real soiling in the carpet, you can get by with very little or no soap, but
yeah, I'll put a little water in a bucket with some soap. Or I'll put a bunch of water in a bucket with soap. I'll just dip the bonnet every so often and keep it wet, and I don't even spray the carpets. If they don't got heavy stains on them. I've done that about 1,000 times.
well, when we clean our own carpets, since we keep them pretty clean, a lot of times we'll just go over it with a bonnet because we're trying to get the carpet fluffed back up again or whatever. So we're not really concerned with getting a lot of stains out because we don't spill food and things all over our carpets.
No, our place is nice.
I mean, our carpets are kind of worn out because they're 9 years old.
But they're nice. They're clean. all our stuff is clean, and we don't have any junk around our place. We don't live like that. Yeah, you can't beat old bonnet cleaning for a quick, thorough carpet cleaning. When we're done, you'll see the carpet will look really nice. They always do. There's always things you just can't get out, but normally you can get out everything if you work at it a bit. Let's get this rest of the way out. I'll just play around with it. You just slow down a little bit on the dirty spots and hover around on them a bit, they just sort of come out. It's not rocket science. If you see something you might have missed, just hover back over it again for a second. Retake it out till you think it's right, and then when the room looks right, go to your next one. Now, if you think that you're not doing a good job with your bonnet, flip your bonnet, or wash your bonnet out and start back with it washed, or get another bonnet. If you don't want to wash your bonnet out, bring 4 or 5 with you, and you can switch them out. Normally on a 2-bedroom apartment, I use one bonnet, and it's a real dirty. One side does one room, and the other side does another. On just 2 bedrooms, or on a living room and a bedroom. These bonnets will absorb a lot of dirt before you need to worry about them not picking up. They're surprisingly very absorbent. But you'll know when it's time to flip them or clean them out or get another one. When you look at the carpet, it just doesn't look good like it did when you started. You'll see. You'll know it after you do it a few times in practice.
Now, when you're dealing with rental properties, you're dealing usually with carpet that's pretty abused and worn out. There's only so much you're going to be able to do. If you spend too much time on the carpet, you may find that the fibers are starting to come out and everything because the carpets are not taken care of. So you kind of have to just get it as clean as you can without spending too much time in one certain area, and then move on, because that's about all you're going to do before you start causing damage. Luckily with the Oreck, you can really scrub a lot before you start having to worry about anything like that, because it's aggressive, but it's not harsh, so the carpets can handle it.
It won't tear the carpets up, hardly.
No, you would see you're starting to cause damage before it started to happen. I mean, you're not going to have to worry about accidentally ruining a carpet.
I wouldn't hesitate to do this on a wool carpet. I do it on a Persian rug. I wouldn't think twice about it.
It's more about what pre-spray you use on those kind of carpets.
Yeah.
Because you got to be careful you don't do something that makes the color start to bleed out and run.
So when you get towards the end of the job, like I am right here in this room, you start looking around to see if you missed something behind you or whatever. And if you did, you go hover it over for a second and fix her on up, and you're in business. You see anything missed?
Yeah, try to see if that's a bug.
It's something stuck in the carpet fiber. Candy or something. I'm not worried about it. Here's the dirt, a bad traffic lane, so I'll hit it a little more just to make sure.
Of course, we're going to rake these.
We will as soon as we're done with both of them. So.
Yeah, walk around a little bit. All the stains.
Different?
No, the stains seem to be gone.
I think we're good. Time to go to the next one.
There's a little candy along the wall over here, but that's
candy.
That's not going to be a big deal. I'm open this closet so it can get some airflow. We'll leave the ceiling fans on while we're working, but when we get done raking, we'll shut those off, because just in case the fan shorts out or something like that and you have a fire, you don't want it to be something that you are responsible for. And the housekeeper is not done working in here, so hopefully he won't walk on the carpets when we get done, but we'll see what happens. Now there's some stains, there's some things there where the carpet's been bleached out by something, some hydrogen peroxide or a little bleach got spilled. That's not coming out. You're not going to be able to fix that.
This is probably where the
don't forget the closet this time.
This is probably where the adults stay, because this carpet's a lot cleaner And the one we just did had a lot of drink spills, so that's probably the kids' room. I don't know who lived here, but I'm guessing it was a mom and baby, a mom and a child, or a dad and a child. So the adult kept this room a little cleaner. It's not perfect, but it's better than the other one. But they apparently let their children run anywhere in the house with drinks, because that's what the other one looks like happened.
Either that or they had a cat.
Yeah, that could be it.
Yeah, if your cat brings in a bird and decides to dismantle it on your carpet, what can you do? You know, you've got stains.
Yeah, keep your cat indoors only. You don't have them issues. Unless a mouse gets in the house.
This room's not quite as bad at all. Just up here, as they walk into the door, that's where all the stains are at. So.
Now, I'm going to spray the closet on video because it's convenient, but I'm not going to clean it on video because who wants to watch it? It's too tight in there and it's dark. So,
Yeah, no, you could have this as a mini office space if you wanted to. It's not that bad. This is actually like a third bedroom if you have a rowdy kid.
I think you'd get in trouble with the law if you did that.
Well, there's things you got to keep to yourself. You don't talk about it outside.
I'm sure a lot of people have the same opinion about keeping a kid there.
Yeah.
That's where you let your uncle, if Uncle Fester comes to stay a few nights, there's his bedroom right there.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he'd like it because he's not on the streets. But
All right.
it's about time to, let me scrub the closet.
We're trying to show this in real time. We didn't show the pre-vacuuming, but we're trying to show this in real time so you get an idea how long it actually takes to clean a couple of rooms. And we're not rushing, so.
No, we're just doing it at our standard pace.
You could go faster if you wanted to.
Well, I do them as fast as I can based off the conditions of them.
Don't forget to flip your bonnet over.
If they're real clean, I go fast. If they're dirty, I'll slow down. It's really pretty simple. Yeah, then we flip the bonnet over and we'll get to it. Now, those of you who've never seen one of these machines before, they're pretty heavy. I mean, they only weigh 25 pounds, but it's all concentrated on the bottom. It's
Yeah, a 25-pound sledgehammer is nothing to play around with.
They're heavier than they look. You'd be surprised at how they do.
Oh, by the way, just because somebody will try it, don't ever turn your machine on carpet with no pad or anything underneath it, because that driver pad,
It'll tear anything up.
you'll probably rip the bearings out in your machine or something doing it. It'll grip and it'll definitely ruin the carpet.
You'll tear something up. You'll probably tear up the carpet real bad.
And you shouldn't store the machine with the driver pad on it, on something hard like a floor or something like that.
No.
If you want to store it on something soft like on a carpet or...
Keep a bonnet underneath it.
Yeah, keep a bonnet underneath it or a floor pad or something. Because you don't want those pins that are on the bottom to be able to press against the floor. They shouldn't really, because they don't really touch the floor when the outside edges are sitting there, but just to be on the safe side.
Well, you don't want them bent in. You want them.
How many of those driver pads do we own now? Like 4?
We've got 3 or 4, and
We've never had to replace one for...
This is the original one we got, our first machine that got dropped down some stairs, but this is the driver plate from it. The longer you use them, the more the driver plates, it's not that they wear out, but they get so they don't grab the bonnet quite as hard, where they still grab hard, but they don't rip the bonnet at all. When I first got this driver pad, you feel the bonnet rip every time it came off. Now it just slips off. But it will not slip a bonnet out while it's running under the machine. It doesn't drop bonnets, but they do come off easier. We got the pad driver basically broken in. So, if you get one of these and don't like how the pad driver grips the bonnet, you think it's too tight, take a file and just lightly grind the tips down on the pad driver, just the very tips, so they're not as sharp as the tip of a pencil. And it'll still grab the pads or the bonnets real good and not tear them. You don't have to put Velcro on your pad drivers if you don't want to.
Well, like on the floor pads, you have like black stripper pads and red pads for polishing and everything. And what we've done sometimes is we'll take some Scotch-Brite pads, those 3M pads you can get in packages. They're little rectangular pads. If you trim those to fit onto the driver pad, you can put those on the pad, and then they'll take up all the space with the teeth, and then your floor pads won't stick to the driver pad anymore. Now on some floors that's fine. On others you may find that your floor pads can slip out from under the machine, so you've kind of got to play around with it and figure out on what jobs you can use it that way. But yeah, those gripper teeth, they'll tear up floor pads and things like that.
Well, if you're going to use floor pads, what I'd recommend is you get one of these pad drivers that comes with the door. Go ahead and completely sand the teeth off the bottom, and go buy like major Gorilla Velcro or whatever, and stick that on there, and it'll hold your floor pads. It'll hold them well too. If you want to do that, that way whenever your floor pads will just be Velcroed on. We have 3 or 4 pad drivers, so we could do one, but we don't do a lot of floor work. We do mainly carpet, so we don't need a special floor cleaning pad driver.
You could actually just put the bonnet on the machine and set that on top of the floor pad too, and use the bonnet to drive it around.
You might. It may be where...
The thing you got to watch out for is if you get it off the edge a little bit on the machine, your pads will slip out from under. So you kind of got to experience. You want to make sure you keep you stay on top of the pad and don't let it go from side to side too much. Or
if I was into a whole lot of floor cleaning, I'd probably get a pad driver and I'd completely foul the points off, and I'd put Velcro on it.
Yeah, and you can just take it out on some concrete and run the driver pad only and grind it down on the concrete, but just be careful you don't overdo it.
If you had a Dremel tool with a grinder bit,
you got a string hanging off your rag.
Yeah, I've seen that. If you had a Dremel tool with a grinder bit, you could grind those points off quite fast and get it so it's completely flat, and then just put Velcro on it.
But your floor pads, generally you'll tear them up a little bit at first, but then it'll get to where they've kind of broken in to the driver, and you won't really have any major issues. Yeah. You really need to fix that rag.
Well, I'll fix it after this.
Because it's getting ready to get caught up underneath the machine, and it's going to get sucked into the shaft.
Oh, I'll get it fixed in a minute. We're almost finished now. But the first thing I'll do is fix that string hanging off my rag. I don't like it.
Just tear it off.
I keep a rag hanging on there because people have asked. It's because whenever I get the bonnet wet and put it on the carpet, I like to dry my hands before I start touching the machine because
don't forget to do your cloth.
Because of electricity and stuff like that. So I like to dry my hands every time I've got the bonnet wet. So I keep a rag handy like that.
There's a cigarette burn.
That's a burn. Can't do much with that.
And like I said, the bleach spots, that's permanent damage. You're not going to fix that. Just pull the thread off the end. Yeah, those rags kind of unravel like that.
These are just cheapest shop rags you can buy like at Walmart or whatever.
No, those are Home Depot. Those are Primo.
Oh yeah, they're very expensive.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're El Chicos. But no, these machines, and we got videos showing where we do a vinyl floor where we spray buff it. They will buff and spray buff a vinyl floor with no problems, and they're pretty quick.
All right, he's finishing up. I'm going to shut the camera off. I'm going to rake the other room. I'm going to have to rake this one, and we'll show you the final results when it's all raked. So stay tuned for just a minute or so more.
See y'all later.
All right. Final results. Of course, the carpets are still drying, but they're all nice and smooth and even, except for the bleached stains, which we can't do anything about. This is the smaller room, and it looks pretty good too. And all freshly raked. So hopefully you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed watching us clean these carpets, and stay tuned for our next videos. Thanks for watching.